Hey guys, PsyStarcraft here with another StarCraft 2 commentary. If I could click the play button there, it took me a second. This was played in a tournament over the weekend on Saturday. It's something called the Pegasus Cup. It was kind of an invite tournament. Some players were invited. I think some of them were just kind of like last ditch, we need to fill some spots type of players. But it was a 64-man tournament with a $800 prize pool, I believe. And this is the round of 32. It's going to be Psy, the green Zerg in the top right, against Slush, the orange Zerg in the bottom left. Now, Slush is another one of the Zerg players that I really love to emulate. I'd say that Idra and Fruit Dealer are tied for number one, and Slush is a close second. I just love this guy's play. And I was fortunate enough, or unfortunate enough, however you want to look at it, to play him in the round of 32. So it was a best of 3 series, and I'm going to be casting 2 games from the series. There was 3 games, so you know that someone won or someone lost 2-1. But one of the games was kind of one-sided, so I'm not going to be casting that game. This is actually game number 3, so you know the winner of this game is going to reveal who actually won the series if you don't know already. And then I'll cast another game of Slush. But you see, very early drone scouts because this is a short map, Steps of War, and we want to make sure there isn't any kind of extreme cheese going on. So here's my Zergling has arrived in Slush's base, dropping that pool on 14, and his drone rather has arrived in my base. He's actually blocking the drone for a little bit, which is kind of smart. It doesn't really matter too much. I'm going to be attacking that drone and placing the pool with a different drone, getting my gas immediately after, about the same time as him. So we've got the same timing on the gases, and his pool is just a little bit faster, but that doesn't matter too much because even if he sends out Zerglings, he has this travel distance. So by the time he gets there, I'll have my Zerglings out as well. And you guys have seen me say several times that in Zerg versus Zerg, it's whoever puts down the pool slower kind of has a very slight economical advantage, and so that's what we're looking at right now. His pool is a little bit faster. He's gonna have faster scouting because of his faster lings, maybe a little bit faster tech, but as far as economy, you know, I'm gonna be just fine. Fast Roach Warren as well. So if you guys are looking for a good Roach build, here we go. We have a pool on 14 and then a gas a little bit after. You saw the timing on that. And then a Roach Warren immediately after. And if we look at mine is also training as well. He's got 4 lings, or I've got 4 lings, and looks like he is skipping the lings altogether. So he's going to be going heavy drones and then just mass roaches, nothing else. That's what it's looking like from the build. I am sending 4 lings into his base. And in Zerg versus Zerg, you can be careless with your overlords. Obviously, you don't want to send them into your opponent's base because the queen will kill them. But you know, you can have one here, have one here, have one here. Just stack them, and so there's a nice little line of view to your enemy's base. If we look at this, I have one outside his base, one near my base. And if we look at him, his is similar, just right at the choke of his base and right outside of my base. So nice placement right there, forcing him to train a couple of lings. But you know, these 2 lings is an extra drone compared to my 4 lings, and he does have a roach out, so he's going to be fine. I'm not really going to be able to poke in and do any damage. Evolution Chamber coming up for me. And the Evo Chamber can mean 2 things. He's actually pumping out 6 more lings there. It can mean 2 things. It can mean you're going to be doing a timing attack with some roaches with a +1 attack or maybe an armor upgrade to take less damage from lings. Or it means you're going to be going all-in speed ling, which can be effective against roaches, but if an opponent does scout the Evo Chamber, oftentimes they'll throw down a Baneling nest just to counteract those Zerglings completely, just because Banelings just rape Zerglings. So it's right now it's just kind of a game of builds. And right here, I'm trying to pick up this Ling. I don't want him to see what I'm doing, but he does just skirt around the outside, runs into my roaches, and he knows exactly what I'm getting. Now, at this point in the game, Slush has made a transition. He has decided what he's going to be doing against what I'm doing. Now, you can tell what he's doing just based on this extra gas he's thrown down. He's getting a lair, and he's making Zerglings. That's the key ingredient right there for this transfer. He started making Zerglings, which means he wants to save gas. Slush is going to be going for mutas. And if I could get a Zergling into his base or something into his base, I'd be able to scout that. But unfortunately, right now, I can't. If I move out, my roaches will just get torn apart by these Zerglings. He does have speed. My Zerglings don't have speed. So right now, he's kind of winning the build order game. But if I can get my lair out and push out with my roaches, you know, with the +1, they can 2-shot Zerglings. Then I should be okay. But that was actually a really fast lair. This is impressive. This is quite the build. Not too many drones on minerals. But for mutas, it's really all about the gas And you can tell that this guy he just knows his Zerg versus Zerg so well. That Spire is just so fast. He's protected against any Roach Rush. And he saw my Roach Horn, so he's almost positive I'm not going to be going Banelings. The only thing that would have stopped this is Banelings right now. Roaches can't really come in yet. So I've got my Roaches. Saturation, I'm looking way better on Saturation just because he had to protect himself with these Zerglings. He went the fast lair, fast gases, and the fast Spire. Hey Car, shut up man! Trying to cast here. It's Slush. And you can see here he still feels a little bit vulnerable. He's choosing to throw down 2 Spine Crawlers because, yeah, I am massing up quite a few Roaches, getting my Roach speed. And the way I want to time this, which is, it's a bit slow compared to what he's doing with his Spire, is to push out with my Roaches once I get my Roach speed. But you can see it's going to be about 80 more seconds in game time. Nice positioning on those Spines. Love the creep spread. The Queen's going to be able to run up there just fine and poke away if she needs to. Spire has completed, and if we look at the production tab, because the Spire was so fast, nice saturation there by the way, he's really pumping those drones once he realizes he's probably okay with these spines here. He got the Spire so fast that he's only able to train 3 or 4 Mutalisks. You'll normally notice that when you get a Spire in any matchup, it's going to be all about like 5 mutas at one time, 5 or 6 mutas at one time. And what did I do? Did I scout that? Yeah, I scouted that Spire, so I am dropping some spines, or some spores, and I'm trying to run up here and do as much damage as I can. My Roaches are +1, tons of Zerglings, so terrible position for me. I have to attack move. I'm trying to do that, only 2 mutas, not doing a lot of damage, dropping 1 spine and killing a lot of Zerglings just because I do have those upgrades. And right here, oh, he's just got such a good surround on me with these Lings. Too much, I mean, my Roaches are being cost effective right now, but he's just got too many units, and the air is just going to force me to transition out of Roaches. So right now, I just took heavy losses. You guys need to get the heck out of there. There we go. Maybe I'll be able to save these Roaches. Looks like this guy's going to be dropped. Yeah, there he goes, and I'm trying to kite with this. Probably a mistake. Should have just ran outright. Do I have any anti-air? Yeah, I've got a couple spores in my base. He is expanding. Great move. He knows he has map control with these mutas, picking off some overlords, even pushing in a little bit with his Lings, but I have massed up some more Roaches. He won't be able to push in just because the mutas will be countered by these spore crawlers very nicely. And the Roaches, with the +1 especially, are plenty enough to take care of these Zerglings. Now he's just running around in my base, taking off drones. Actually, you know, I don't think he even killed any drones yet. Poor rally point right there. Run away, Roaches, run away. Yeah, and you know, with the Queen, if he, for instance, like puts his mutas right here, starts attacking the Roach one, what you have to do is micro your Queen. And so you're shooting at the mutas, and then if the mutas try to change directions and attack your Queen, run back to the safety of your Spore Crawler. Because you can see there's kind of a couple vulnerabilities. Maybe up here is a vulnerability for the mutas, down here a little bit. But with some Queen micro, I mean, you can't really exploit that too much. You can see he's choosing to just continue to mass Mutalisks. I've got 3 Hydras coming out, some Groove Spines, and Hydras are so freaking heavy on gas that I'm also starting to mass up some Queens. First Queen is coming out, and man, these Overlords dying is just such a huge hit for me. You wouldn't think it, but it's so annoying. I don't have any scouting. This Overseer is isolated in my base, and he has an expansion. Not much saturation on that expansion. I actually am still beating him on the Harvester count. But if I want to win this game, I'm going to have to push out soon. How many mutas does he have there? 10 mutas. Oh, being such a nuisance. Killing that creep tumor. Of course, in Zerg versus Zerg, creep isn't as important in other matchups. But if his army is primarily air and my army is primarily ground, of course he's going to be going around trying to kill my creep tumors because they aid me and they don't help him at all. Second Queen is out, going for a third Queen. And at this point in the game, I'm thinking, okay, he's obviously got map control, air control. Do I know he's expanding? Yes, I see his expansion there. I just selected my layer and saw that. And if I don't push out soon and kill him, I'm going to lose. So I'm trying to extend creep to aid my Queens because I want to make a push with my Queens to have enough anti-air for all these mutas. And there's a train of thought. I had a train of thought going here, but I just completely forgot it. Basically, I want to push out and kill shit. No infestors right now. I'm trying to get enough Queens and Hydras just to take care of the mutas. Because if we look here, his ground force isn't really that strong. He's investing a lot of his money and time into Mutalisks. Not injecting. It's funny, like when you get lots of Queens, you like to move them with your army, and then you just completely forget to inject. Not that I really need to because my money is so low, but yeah. Here we go. I am making my move. Queens are so freaking slow off creep. At this point I was hoping that he was spreading creep on his side, but it actually didn't happen. Brilliant move right here. If you ever know you cannot kill the main force of an army that is moving out to you, intercept the reinforcements. You see this all the time in Brood War, and it works so freaking well. Let's check out the unit tab here. He's got 15 mutas to 11 hydras and 4 queens, so I think I have enough anti-air. However, if he gets a good surround on my hydras with his zerglings, those mutas will be supported quite well, and you know, they'll be able to finish off any anti-air I have. Spreading creep down here, continuing to try to intercept. I am pulling back some forces, and his mutas are kind of just still in the middle between them. He doesn't want my army to get any bigger. These queens are so fucking slow. Oh my god, queens. Back up, back up. There we go. I want to group my forces together before I engage. Are my hydras coming out? Yeah, they are coming out. And here we go. I'm going to slow this down for you a little bit. Look at these transfusions on these hydras. I'm trying to save my hydras more than anything else, but it picks off all 3 of my queens so freaking fast. Queens are extremely powerful anti-air. 2 more hydras reinforcing. Roach is doing great on the ground. Hydra's not doing so well. There's a lot of mutas. No focus firing going down on those mutas. Not the best job right there. Roaches, however, did clean up, and I'm going to be able to move into his expansion, do a lot of harassment. But man, just imagine if those queens right here were with my main army, and they were taking the blows from those zerglings or from the other units. It would have been a lot better. The only thing that is saving Slush right now is his Mutalisk. Speed it up to faster, taking off a lot of drones as well. If we look at the harvester count, he's still not really able to exploit his expansion, having that down yet. More zerglings swarming out, dropped very fast by the roaches, and another careless rally point. More overlords running out, ripe for the picking. Man, that is just so frustrating. Sometimes I wish hatcheries had different rally points than overlords, but unfortunately they don't, so that's kind of a shame. And some hydras here. These hydras with the queen will probably be enough to take out these mutas. And yeah, he's actually going to try to assault this spore colony. Not a good idea. Choosing to back out. He just needs to milk his advantage at this point. He has an extra hatchery down. Not the best saturation, but once his main is mined out, which is going to happen pretty soon if we look at both of our mains, he's going to be able to transfer much better than me. I don't even have an expansion. And this is one of the great things about having Mutalisk play is, although they might not be cost effective once an opponent does get anti-air, it allows you for such great map control that that doesn't even matter. Look at this, he's flying around doing so much damage with all these mutas. 1 kill, 3 kills, 5 kills, 3 kills, 4 kills, 5 kills, insane amount of damage. Not too many drone kills, but some overlord kills, some annoying creep tumor kills. Great mobility that allowed him to cut off my reinforces when I was trying to attack. And also, finally, the mobility let him pick off my queens, which are a little bit too behind my main army, which might have been the deciding factor in that latest battle that you just mentioned. But I have pumped out quite a few more hydras, got some roaches, and we are seeing, no, we aren't seeing that yet, but that's spoiler alert. We are going to see something else from Psy. And look at this, he's even getting a little bit scared, spending some drones on some anti-ground. And he knows the mutagame just might not work. They're a little bit too expensive for what I have here. 10 hydras, 2 queens. Am I getting more queens? Yeah, 3 queens. And a 4th queen coming out, trying to take my expansion. And what I should have done here is uprooted one of my spores, maybe even both my spores, since this is almost mined out, and just stuck them behind the minerals just for a little bit of safety. A little bit! Why do I keep saying a little bit, man? I think I've just focused on the word little because we'll not go into that, but we are seeing some infestors. I guess I need to check out his base a little more. A little more. He does have missile attacks +1, ground attacks +1, getting ground attacks +2. Roach Warren is still down, of course. He does have speed. Does he have any hydras? Yes, he has a hydra den, getting hydra range, and also an infestation pit. No upgrades on the infestors, however. 2 infestors coming out for him, and an infestation pit from myself. And this is why I said I wanted those spores out there, killing 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 drones. And this is also why I'm getting my infestors. Infestors, of course, can fungal growth. Mutalisks, just rendering them helpless. They just stand there. Hydras can't outrange the mutas. They can outrange the mutas and just snipe them down so easily. So once my infestors come out, that's when I'm going to be making my move. Now the good thing about this game, it looks a lot more uneven than it is, just because he expanded so much sooner, but he didn't saturate it very fast, so his army isn't going to be too overwhelming. I mean, if we look right here, yeah, he's got a huge advantage. But if we consider my first push out. It was actually a very close battle. I just didn't have enough anti-air. And, you know, I was even able to kill off a couple of drones, but he is just pushing further and further ahead because he was able to snipe a lot of the drones there. Only one drone at my main, of course, still mining on my gas here. And 2 infestors almost finished, but he's making the transition to ground. He's just going to be able to outmass me at this point. Nice upgrades, 2-1 upgrades on his ground units. Being annoying, killing some overlords, and he's just like making me shuttle my army all the way across the map. Now I'm going up here, infestors down here, running away once again, and I'm even supply capped, killing my, it's like he's a wolf, just like going into my sheep herd and like eating them. It's a fucking wolf. Flying around, taking a 3rd expansion as well, and continuing to outmass me in the ground. So our compositions are very similar at this point. I have a few extra queens, while he has a, you know, those mutas flying around. 16 to 16 roaches, 12 to 16 hydras, and he's got a lot of zerglings supporting, 2 infestors apiece, but his upgrades are much better, and of course he has those mutas in the air. Here I go. Queens, fungal growth, mutas cannot run away. Every single muta is picked off. Almost no losses on my side. A little bit of damage on those hydras. Now pushing in. Hydras should not be in the front. Get back there, hydras. Fungal growth, however. And just look at these numbers. You can tell I am so outnumbered at this point. Frantically spamming my transfusion on these hydras, but the zerglings are eating up a lot of damage from those roaches. And my hydras and queens go down. Everything goes down. And I fall to Slush in game number 3. Well fought. A little bit better management right here against those mutas, and I think I could have taken it down. I had a lot of ground forces in here, but his mutas were just a little bit heftily too much for me. Hefty, that's my new word. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Another Slush game coming up, and hope to get you some more Pain User Slush games and higher level player games. Thanks for watching, guys.